Hey guys, welcome back to the channel. Thanks for stopping by. I can see we've got about 40, 50 and counting concurrent views already in the chat. Troops, I really do appreciate it. We've been away for a long time, especially on these lives in this setting as well, and I've missed it quite a bit, so thanks for stopping by. Make sure, before we get started, to smash that like button. Let me know if you can hear me fine, all that good stuff. And yeah, we're going to get into this little bit of a new kind of thing we're going to be doing, because the updates is one thing, but you know, doing updates all the time I think sometimes could become monotonous. I see some channels really kicking the arse out of you know, doing videos for views and stuff like that, and losing a little bit of the quality and stuff. And I don't want to go down that route. I've had a long, hard think about what I want to do on the channel and stuff like that and stuff. And, you know, when you do things like a debate me type thing with an open question, you can just generate all of the questions and answers in the chat. And I want to create that kind of environment, because that's the type of thing that we all enjoy, or seem to enjoy most on the channel anyway. When we do the certain videos and stuff, we tend to get into different topics. So yeah, that's what we're going to do. Today's topic is talking about a topic that I actually covered when I was in the military. It was a lesson whilst I was on a course. The question was slightly different. It certainly wasn't pertaining to Ukraine and Russia, and it certainly wasn't a debate me session. It was a more of a learning thing from a padre, and it was, his question was, can killing ever be morally justified in war? So very similar to how I've kind of written it, but mine's more orientated around Ukraine. And that's the question of the night. We're not going to go any further left and right of that. That is simply, can killing in war ever be morally justified? Can killing in war ever be morally justified? And I want to keep the onus on Ukraine and Russia. So let's talk about that. Ukraine, the invasion, Russia, Ukraine. Can the killing in war in Ukraine and Russia ever be morally justified on either side? Okay, so that's not just the Ukrainians fighting against the Russians, it's the Russians fighting against Ukraine. You know, deaths on both sides. You know me, I'm quite neutral with things like that. I'm not necessarily neutral on the war. I'm all for Ukraine, okay? I'm a pro-Ukraine guy, and I'm definitely on their side. I'm just talking about the deaths, all right? The killing, the act of killing. Can it ever be morally justified, guys? It's quite an interesting topic when you start getting into it. So, as always, before we get into it, a little bit of admin, okay? Let me know if you can hear me loud and clear. Let me know where you're watching from. Most importantly, smash the like button, okay? The like is the main thing. For every concurrent viewer, we need those likes coming in. YouTube always recommends the channels that get the most likes. So, the more likes, the better. It takes 2 seconds to do. So, one things that I like to mention, as always, guys, is super chats will take precedent when it comes to answering the questions, okay? But it's not the be-all and end-all, all right? This is a open debate, and I've got the chat right in front of me right now. So, I just want to make that clear, okay? It's not the be-all and end-all, but the super chats, for one, do help me create content every day, and it's this is my main job. So you're not inclined to super chat at all, okay? And I want to make that quite clear. But if you do, you're you know, as a matter of courtesy and thanks from myself, those questions will be answered first. So that's that. Sometimes people get a little bit huffy with, oh, you're not answering the questions and stuff because of the super chats and things like that. But if someone comes to you with like with a gift, and you have to pay a little bit of respect. But that's that. So let's start the floor. What's going on in the chat? 27 likes. Let's get a few more likes, guys, and we'll get into it. Some regular faces here. How you doing, guys? Some regular faces. Thanks for stopping by. So if you don't realize, over the past few weeks, nearly a month, I've actually been away in a different country. I've been in Mauritius. My wife's from there. We've been sorting out a few things back and forth, but now we're home. I have struggled to get the content out, but we're back now, so no excuses, guys. No excuses. If you want to become a member as well, membership link is in the top of the chat. Hey, Veteran Hoffman, how you doing? Right, let me do one thing, actually. I need to pop this chat out. once I've popped the chat out, I can highlight that. So let me just get the link for that. So I can highlight your questions. Bang. Right, that should work. We'll try it out with Hoffman. There you go. What's up? So it works. So if you got anything you want to say, that's how we're going to do it. Well, let me put that there, like that. And we can clear that off. Right, troops, I think we're ready to go. Let me see what we got. Got Levy in the chat. How you doing, buddy? So, South Padre Island. Where's that? Right, if I go silent now and again, it's because I'm just reading some of your questions. Here's the one. I haven't read it all, but I'm just going to read it now. So, author James Rosone. Yes, killing can be morally justified. The Bible says in Ecclesiastes, I can't even pronounce that there's a time to heal and a time to kill, a time to mourn, and so on. There are definite times to go to war and to kill. Right, I guess that is so that does depend on if you are religiously inclined. All right, if you have a faith, if you follow a certain religion, then you might, your thoughts may pertain to that religion more so than someone who doesn't. So in Christianity, obviously, you're going to be if you're a thorough Christian, a practicing Christian, one who takes his faith seriously, yeah, you're going to follow the code of conduct, which is the Bible, the rules, which is written in Scripture to, live your life by. And if you literally believe everything it says and take the Bible literal, then yeah, you're gonna follow that. I'm in two minds with that. I've been back and forth with religion for a long time. Brought up a Roman Catholic. I think some of the fundamentals of all religions are quite nice, but I do think that you can be quite a nice human being without religion in your life at all. I think it doesn't take an alignment with any religion to do things with a good moral compass. That's what I've found anyway. But if you are religious, then fair play. But yeah, I don't think you need to follow a particular faith to be a good person. That's just my personal opinion. So I guess what you're saying kind of only really pertains to those who are religious, more so those who believe in the Bible. So yeah, good point. And this is the thing. I personally don't, and hear me out. You have to really hear me out here, okay? I don't think that killing in war can ever be morally justified. I think killing in war happens. I think, those who don't think killing in war can be morally justified doesn't mean to say that they won't partake in that for the cause to be fulfilled. So that being said, do I think there's loads of individuals who served in the military who have done and will do again, but still think that it is not morally justified? I think there's loads of those people. If I was to be in that situation, I would be one of those people. If I had to do it for the job, for Great Britain, if I got called up again, for instance, to be part of the Royal Marines again, if I had to do that act, it doesn't mean to say that I think it would be morally justified just because, one, I get to do it, two, I can do it, and three, I actually did do it. Does that make sense? So that's where I stand on it. I think people get confused with doing it, accepting that they have to do it, makes them think that it is automatically morally justified. It's just because you can do something and you believe you should do something doesn't mean to say that it'll be morally justified. I don't think we as human beings really get to play with the parameters of morality as much as we think we can. Morality isn't really as much of a personal opinion as we think. It's either moral or it isn't. You and I don't really get to put the goalposts on that. It's either moral or it isn't. Let's forget about whether or not you'll do it or not. Okay, so killing, forget about religion, forget about rules, regulations, law. Is killing another human being, can it ever be morally justified? In my humble opinion, I don't think it ever can. I don't think we ever get to say that, to have that final say. We don't get to move the goalposts. So that's where I stand on that. You've heard it. So your answers and your feedback and your questions and whatever is absolutely welcome. Now let's get the questions here. But thank you very much for your question, James Razon. Good question, man. What else we got? So this is a one. Ideal Smith Reeves, you're saying, before the atomic bombs were dropped on Japan, the United States flattened city block after city block because the Japanese government wouldn't surrender unconditionally. So yeah, let's try and link that in with morality then, with the impending danger from Japan. And it was more of, you were fighting an ideology in Japan at the time. It was not, you're fighting the people who were literally willing to not just give themselves up, but give their entire families up, their family lineage and everything to fight for the emperor. Their cause was so ingrained in their brains. It was next level, almost robotic in their way of thinking. So again, morally speaking, was it the right thing to drop the atomic bombs on Nagasaki and Hiroshima? Again, that's a tough one to answer, guys. I'd like to hear your opinions on that. Harrison Hand's still getting in shape. I say, well, I've had a few weeks off the gym. Few weeks, put a few pounds on. Apocalypse Survivor, you're saying the Bible also says abortion should be done if your wife cheats in Numbers 5. Wow, I didn't know that. I'm not like a wizard with the Bible. I guess that could be a topic for another time. Bible also says, yes, again, I think these old scriptures, that were created by men in the sand dunes thousands of years ago. Yeah, I don't know. I think we've got to be careful what we read sometimes and not to take it too literal. Okay, so Veteran Hoffman, as a soldier, I'm kind of biased on this subject. Yeah, I'd like to hear your opinion, though. What do you think on it? Can killing in war be morally justified, specifically Ukraine and Russia at this moment, because that's the ongoing war of the season, so to speak. It's a little bit of it's almost like a season, these wars, isn't it? You know, what's in and what's out. That's an interesting one then. Guardsman, he says, I never had a problem with killing. I have a problem with murder. Explain. Because in order to murder someone, you have to kill them. You know? So, not having a problem with killing and the act of killing links to murder. You've got to kill someone to murder them, effectively. So, I haven't got a problem with that. I think that's a contradiction right there. Yeah, Ideal Smith Reeves, good armies sometimes have to do bad things. So the Padre I was talking to in 2015, I remember this lesson on morality. I actually said to the Padre what I've pretty much said to you guys there. Bearing in mind this is a man of the Lord, so to speak. And he got really angry with me. I'll never forget it. So angry with me. And he was trying to change my mind on it. And his whole purpose was to try and condition the young recruits. I was already four years in or something at the time in the Royal Marines. I was a Lance Corporal. So I had a little bit more understanding of things than the raw recruits. And I believe he was put in place there to almost condition the young recruits into thinking that, don't worry, because I am a figurehead in the church, so to speak, that I can pretty much condition your brain to believe that you are morally justified because your actions are, you know, in defense of your country, and the country is predominantly Christian. And it was just, to me, it didn't really... The debate suited young, naive 18 to 20-year-olds, but it didn't really suit me as a 27, 26-year-old or whatever at the time. And a couple of the older lads and lasses there were on the same wavelength as me. And I think he was thinking, well, what the hell are you doing in the military? And I was like, well, it's a very small portion of it. And thankfully, in my career, I haven't got too many bad memories, you know, so... that's just you can't let your brain be swayed with these just because they're, you know, a figure of the church, so to speak. Right, so what's this one? Thomas Brown. He's saying, I think if you look at extremes where maybe you're an Allied soldier defending territory where the Nazis would come in and wipe out the whole Jewish population, I think you might be justified. Okay, so let's put ourselves in the predicament where we're an Allied soldier and we want to protect that situation from happening against the bad guys. This kind of goes back to what I said before then. So does it make it morally justified, the act of killing on either side? Or is it just something that you will do because it's the right thing to do, but morally we don't get to move the benchmarks, all right? Remember the goalposts situation? Who gets to move the goalposts? Is morality therefore just an opinion, or is it something that can be set in stone? Or is it something that can change depending on the situation? It's an interesting one, that. Thanks for your question, man. Or your point, rather. Oh, we've got some super chats coming in. The first ones in a long, long time. Boom. Vlad, thank you very much, dear sir, for your kind super chat. You're saying my cousin is at war. Talked to him over the phone. He was on the verge of crying. And I said, I don't want to kill them, but these Russians keep coming. Why don't they just go home? Mentally healthy people don't feel like killing. I couldn't have said it any better myself. It just goes against every instinct. I know people like to think that we are primal by nature and everything else, but if you look at the 90% of the population more, we're actually quite peaceful individuals. We'll argue, our temperaments go up and down and stuff, but we're not massacring each other every single day. You know, we're in the grand scheme of things, the whole world population are quite harmonious with each other. So we can say it's as primal as we want. Look, there's a few primal things that us humans do, and I don't need to go into detail about it, all right? Hence, there's people all, you know, there's plenty of pregnant people on the planet, all right? We have other primal instincts that, you know, take over. It doesn't matter how restrictive you are, they take over, and that's why we continue to have a growing population, so to speak. But we're not out there slaughtering each other on a monumental scale, are we? So it's they might say it's primal. It's certainly devolving in that sense, all right? Not as primal as people think. That's just my personal opinion. So yeah, a healthy person, I don't think they're, in mind and body and spirit, I don't think they would ever think that it's right to kill anyone. And I think no matter what the situation, you'd still probably feel bad if you partaked in that situation. And there's some horrible situations out there that you could use your imagination on, all right? It's a difficult one, this. That's why I love this topic. That's why I love this topic. Thank you very much for your super chat, my friend. Robert Friel. Thank you for your super chat. You're saying murder is the unlawful killing of a person. The real question is, what is lawful in the defense of life and others is lawful? Yeah, lawful. I mean, we make the laws and the laws change all the time. And the laws change all the time, you know, in some cases based on public opinion, based on, you know, how we as a society have moved on from certain things. I mean, you just have to go back a couple of 100 years ago. In England alone, England, it was quite treacherous in the act of killing general people for, you stole a loaf of bread a couple of 100 years ago, you're getting your arm chopped off, or you're getting show paraded around the town and pitchforked up and stuff. Quite horrendous individuals over here at one point in time, not too long ago either. So morality changes. So what I'm trying to say is, if morality changes all the time, who gets to change the goalposts? Is it a holistic thing with society, when it moves together? Or that's why I think we've got to be careful. It's either morally correct or it isn't. We need to get away from, in my humble opinion, moving the goalposts, being able to move the goalposts. Like if in 200-300 years' time, morality, the way we see morality has changed, does that to me is quite dangerous, Whereas if we just went, yeah, it's wrong to kill, in 1,000 years from now, it's still wrong to kill because we can't change the goalposts. Either way you look at it, at least, I don't know. It's a tricky one. And another thing as well, I've got quite a fixed mindset on the matter. So I think it's important that we have a bit of a growth mindset with these questions. If we can have a bit of a growth mindset for certain topics, we can probably learn a little bit more. Maybe I need to have a little bit more of a growth mindset on the matter. I don't know. It's a tricky one. Is Startsky in the chat? I hope he is. Veteran Hoffman, okay, the commandment "thou shalt not kill" is a mistranslation. I use a strong exhaustive concordance to translate the original Hebrew. It actually does say "thou shalt not murder." Yeah, well, when you phrase it in that way, it reads very differently. "Thou shalt not murder." But yeah, I mean, in order to murder, the act of killing needs to take place, though, doesn't it? So, yeah, it's a tricky one. I get where you come with that. Thank you for the super chats, troops. Appreciate it. What else we got? This is a good one. Spartan Doom says morality is set in stone, in my opinion, and certain things can definitely mess with your head permanently. Yeah, so let's look at killing in war. Certain things can definitely mess with your head permanently. I've not met a single soldier who has... I need to be careful how I phrase it. There's plenty of guys who I've talked to who've had to, we say pay the ultimate sacrifice normally when someone unfortunately loses their life. But I think the real sacrifice is the soldiers who've had to bestow the ultimate sacrifice on someone else. So in turn, their karma makes them pay the ultimate sacrifice whilst they're living. Because although a lot of the guys that I've spoke to, because I'm quite interested in this topic, I've spoke to good friends of mine still about this topic, who I know have had to, do all the bad stuff. And although they in their heads have justified it, to me, as an onlooker, and it's just my opinion, it normally seems like that justification comes from them conditioning themselves to become more at peace with the action in which they did. And I can understand that it's a coping mechanism, and it's a good coping mechanism, and it's a healthy one. But all of that doesn't matter when it comes to morality. It's still morally unjustifiable, in my opinion, regardless of the circumstances behind it. And again, we need to get away from the fact that it does happen, it would happen. Many people would quite happily go through with, yeah, this is my orders, this is for king and for country, so to speak, and it's for the right thing. It's in protection of innocent lives and all of that. So I'm all for it. But that's got nothing to do with morality. You know, morality is in stone, in my opinion. So it's irrelevant what you feel and think. Does that make sense? Thank you for your point there, Spartan Doom. Appreciate it, dude. Troops, smash that like button. Let's get to 100 likes. That would be pretty damn cool. Sorry if I'm missing some of your questions, guys, as well. Oh, this is a good one. I like this this point. So, kill a clown. Kill a clown. The soldier is justified if he stays inside the lines of the Geneva Convention. So, how does the Geneva Convention formed in the first place? Because they didn't make themselves. So people created that. All right, the rules and the regulations set out in the Geneva Convention, the rules of war for those who signed the convention, created by people. So the people create the goalposts. Yeah, so you're talking about you're talking about justification from a legal standpoint. But a legal standpoint is different from a moral standpoint, although we'd like to think that most legal, so you would like to think that from a legal standpoint, it would automatically be morally justified or automatically be moral, but not necessarily. Okay, so from a legal standpoint, in some places around the world, the death penalty is in place. But that's a legal thing. It's a legal standpoint, but is it justified? Do you know what I mean? So morally, if you don't believe in killing, it doesn't matter if it's legal or not. You still disbelieve it. You know, you still don't believe in it. If that makes sense. So, yeah, not too sure on that one myself. I don't necessarily agree with that. I think it legally covers you, but it doesn't cover your ass morally, does it? You know, that's my opinion. Not sure if this is relevant too much, but I've seen something in there that I want to address anyway, potentially. Halpor says 90% and 95% of the population no longer have the proper mental fortitude to survive combat intact mentally. Basic training is supposed to weed those people out, yet PTSD is a thing. Post-traumatic stress disorder, I think, is overused. There you go. I think it's overused, still very much misunderstood. A lot of the guys who I know who have PTSD, all of them were, is it right to say all of them? All of the ones with that I know to have PTSD, an overwhelming amount of them were very, very, very heavy drinkers before, during, and after the diagnosis. So I don't know about you. You don't have to go to war to experience the same thoughts, the same emotions as someone with PTSD. If you're a heavy drinker, it's just the fact that if you haven't been to war, you don't get the right to be able to say, well, I've got PTSD, because people go, well, what have you seen? Well, most bad things that people see actually lie in the brain anyway. Most bad things that people see actually lie in their thoughts. When you're pissed out of your brain all day, every single day, you're not going to feel too good, are you? That's what I've seen. And a lot of them end up with psychosis, which, you know, is not a favourable thing anyway for your mental health. And I just think that a lot of the times these veterans who are suffering from chronic fatigue, a massive depletion in their dopamine, and their cortisol levels are through the roof, and their testosterone levels as a result are absolutely, rock bottom, which makes you feel suicidal, by the way. All of these things just get pushed over to one side and forgotten about, and go, here you go, there's a card with PTSD. Why? Well, you've been to war and you're a soldier, so it must be that. And I just think a lot of the time it's bullshit. A lot of the time the lads, guaranteed most of them, because they've spunk most of the money on alcohol, and they've been to war, which affects your cortisol levels, dropping your testosterone levels off, adding alcohol onto that, in some cases drugs. These blokes who are walking around, who were once, macho men gods, are now suddenly walking around with testosterone levels of a 5-year-old girl. Yeah, you're going to feel horrendous. Your mental health is going to be horrendous. And if looked into properly by proper specialists, they'll realize that a lot of our veterans with PTSD are actually suffering from other serious health problems, which could be fixed with, in this case, what I'm talking about with testosterone levels, could be fixed with testosterone replacement therapy. And 90% of their problems, mentally, physically, emotionally, spiritually, will go away, believe it or not. The people are capable of seeing horrific things and coping with them. That's the thing that I think society is not getting right at this moment in time. You can see horrific things. You can get over horrific things pretty quick. It's how your body. But we're not talking about other things. All right, like I don't know, man. It just seems to me like the obvious things that we do in society are just not the right things sometimes. Like, in my personal opinion, they'll give Ritalin out for people with ADHD. So if you use if you use the symptoms of ADHD correctly, you'll find that it's more of a gift in some cases than it is a curse. But they're giving out like these drugs that are effectively slowing the brain down and putting stop to it. I don't know, man. Interesting. Off topic there. I see we've got another member in the chat. Where are you? Hey, Jerry Allen, welcome to Gender Members Club, my friend. First one of the stream. Thank you, dude. User says, I know it's hard to believe, but we actually live in the most peaceful time in humanity's history. I'm not too, I don't know if that's true or not, but I'll take your word for it. Yeah, I mean, there was worse times to live in, right? There was a lot worse times to live in. I mean, was 20 years ago worse to live in than now? Than now? Off the back of the Cold War, Kosovo, Iraq kicking in for another time, and Afghanistan on the cusp. Would you rather live through that or now? I'm choosing now, actually. I think now's a better time. Now is a better time than 20 years ago. I know many people might disagree with that. Scott Kendrick says, killing your enemy in war is morally justified. What's up for debate is if the war itself is morally justified. That's an interesting one, that. So, killing your enemy in war is morally justified. So, do you think that morality, if you have morality, would you think underneath that, what is morality? Do you think under that would have killing your enemy in war? Do you think that's what good morality is? Moral justification, killing your enemy in war. Do you think that would come under there as a subtopic? I don't, personally. What's up for debate is if war itself is morally justified. Now, yeah, that's an interesting one. Yeah, because war doesn't necessarily have to involve killing. That's what you're saying. And can that ever be justified? Probably is a better question. Veteran Hoffman, thank you for your question. You say, morally, I believe just going out and killing someone is wrong. But in war, there's people trying to kill you, so therefore it's morally acceptable to kill them. That's why I say I am biased, right? Yeah, I get it. Vet, you're a veteran, and it's that mindset, and it's actually something that 99% of all the vets I speak to have your opinion and not mine. Like you say, I'm the outcast in among my community with what I think, but that's just because I don't think if you were to, let's just have a title, love, would you write under that what are all things that pertain to love? You wouldn't have killing and death and hate under there. You would have peace, joy, happiness, smiling. All of these bullet points would pertain to that, and you'd be going, oh, okay. But if we have morality, all right, you wouldn't have and you had a bullet point. I know it's really simple. You wouldn't bullet point those things what you're saying under there. Do you know what I mean? So that's what I'm trying to say. Can it be morally justified based on what morality is, or is your morality different to everyone else's? And if it is that even morality? Because I don't think people can have individual moralities. I think morality needs to just be set in stone. That's what it is for everyone. It is what it is. It's almost like a law of the universe morality, isn't it? You know, in the way I'm thinking of it is anyway. James Razone, I spent 3.5 years in Iraq. Well, thank you for your service, first and foremost, soldier. Or Marine, if you're a Marine. I can't see your logo there. You're saying, I assured you we killed a lot of people, mostly bad, but sometimes wrong place, wrong time does happen. Happens a lot. It's not right. It sucks. It's horrible, but it happens. I appreciate your honesty, brother. Again, what I found is guys like yourself who've been there, done that, got the T-shirt, and it's bloody as well. If you see enough of it, you know, they tend to sway a little bit towards my way of thinking. It's not common though. But I appreciate your sacrifice, man. Trying to think if I can get these questions on the stream. Let me see. Actually, no, I'm not going to do that. Hey, Jerry Allen. Welcome to Gender Members Club, brother. I appreciate you, dude. In fact, I've already mentioned that. Harrison Hand says you can get PTSD from life. Yeah, too right you can. Just generally speaking. So, Stephen McGowan, Ukraine was unjustly invaded. As far as I'm concerned, they are justified in defending by any means necessary, as well as even fouling water, crops, and livestock within Russia. Okay, that's pretty stringent way of thinking. So, if we're going to go down the routes of what you're saying, literally, by any means necessary. So by any means necessary, if they started nuking neighboring countries in order to defeat Russia, by your definition, that's still justified because that's by any means necessary. Do you know what I mean? I'm not sure I fully agree with you. And I'm not being pedantic. It's just because of the topic being so, you've got to be so pinpoint accurate with what you're saying. Otherwise, because we can tear it apart, can't we? So by any means necessary is quite a big parameter to discuss. Yeah, the possibilities is endless, isn't it? So Hey, Randy Adams, how you doing, buddy? It's 10:15 here. Trading official, you have to weigh out options and level things out for peace. Where do you draw the line to stop killing, to stop the war? And we just do what the higher ups tell us to do. The leaders authorize it. Exactly. Yeah, I agree with what you're saying. Halport, I was referring to PTSD as a result of combat specifically. Okay, buddy. Thank you for clarifying. Baron Hoffman, I never saw combat serving during the Cold War, yet the VA says I have PTSD from the stress of military life. Yeah, and they want you to take all of those pills as well, I bet, buddy. Hey? You see it too often, man. Veteran Hoffman, here's the thought. Morals cannot be defined by the masses, but only by the individual. My morals may differ from some other person's. Okay, so if some other person's morals differ from yours, if their morals allow them to, I don't know, do something that hurts you, you know, would you be like, oh, well, that's his morality. It's okay then. You know, that's where conflict, I think this is where conflict comes from, because people think that they can choose, or people choose to have different moral structures in their life, instead of just, if we all holistically accepted that morality is set in stone, as, you know, there's good and there's bad. We don't get to choose what that is. Killing is clearly a bad thing, and you know, the opposite isn't. So if we all had a moral compass that was set in stone, maybe less arguments would entail, less wars would happen, less conflicts in general. What do you think of that? That's it's just a thought, isn't it? But it's an interesting one, that's for sure. Right, and troops. So it's 10:20 now. Any final questions? Get them in. If you can smash the like button, if you can share the stream out after it's finished. If you've got anything you want to ask me afterwards, then drop it down. I'm going to do these a little bit more often, try and keep them in around an hour or so. But yeah, going to off to do some other things and record some content for you guys, and that's it. But thank you for your questions. I'm going to leave, you know, a minute or two to be able to get the last questions in if you want. But other than that, I just want to say thanks for stopping by on the first stream back. And to those that have super chatted and became members on the stream, I am forever grateful. Trust me. Thank you very much. No more. Okay, guys. So tomorrow, I'm not sure if we're going to do one of these tomorrow. I might do a Ukraine update, actually. Yeah, might do a Ukraine update tomorrow. But I'll let you know anyway via a community post what we're up to. But thank you for stopping by, everyone that's commented. I love you all. And yeah, that's that. Take it easy, troops. I'll see you very, very soon. Peace.